And welcome back, Australia, to the opening day of the finals of the Rugby League here at Rugby League headquarters, the Sydney Football Stadium. Bathed in sunshine, and it has attracted, as expected, a very big crowd. Those that follow the game have been saying for months now that this would be the best semi-final series for a long, long time. And for the first Saturday of the semis, this is an enormous crowd, probably in the mid-30,000s. And they've come a long way, particularly those from Canberra. They're in search of their third grand final victory. They're on the road to it. They're white hot. They are the favourites at 6-4 to go through in 4 weekends and do the lap of honour. Up in the tunnel, Peter Louis, the North Sydney coach, stands by as he waits for his players to come on down. Sun shining down, temperatures in the mid-20 degrees. And North Sydney, they haven't won a grand final as they come from the dressing rooms since 1922. They made the final series in 1991. They went out fairly quickly. And so here they come now, the Bears from North Sydney. Second in the 1994 Winfield Cup. Led out by Jason Taylor. Welcomed by their fans, and there's their team. Sears Hall, Cleary, Caruana, Poppy, Florimo, Taylor, Hearn, Soden, Fennick, Larson, Fairley and more. And they're coached by Peter Louis. I think that everybody that hasn't got a team in the semi-finals deep down is hoping for this team to win it. Matt Sears at the back of North Sydney today, a youngster in his first semi-finals visit. And he goes into it alongside some of the fellows that have been there and done it before at the top echelon, fellows like Greg Florimo. And now Mal Meninga, his mouth and nose nuzzled in that white mug as he takes in the last bit of liquid before kickoff time. The people in the national capital, a large part of New South Wales, of course, rooting for this side, the Green Machine. And so to the end of the walkway, and Mal Meninga goes into his last Winfield Cup semi-final series. The team that he's so proud of behind him, Green Pride. We saw a sign on the hill just a moment ago, God created man and then he created Mullins, and that's of course a tribute to the rise of that fullback. Magus, Meninga, Wiki, Mandruku, Daly, Stewart in front of him. Pongia, Walters, Lomax, Croker, Ferner and Clyde. They make up the engine room, and there he is, the pride of Canberra at the moment. You might say the pride of the league. Brett Mullins on the sideline. What's it like down there conditions-wise, Blocker?
Yes, it's cooled down as the afternoon's gone on. There's a ground temperature of 23 degrees now. A light breeze in favour of Canberra in the first half. The last news that I've got from North Sydney is they're saying if they can beat Canberra today, they're back on the road. Everyone else is tipping Canberra. North really think they can win. The tip from Canberra is last time they played North Sydney, which was the last time they lost, they tried to take North Sydney on in the forwards.
That was 8 matches ago when North defeated Canberra in round 14. North, in fact, have won 10 of their last 11. Their last, in fact, the loss was to Brisbane in round 21. Bill Harrigan, he's the man with this match, the major preliminary. And there's the kickoff from Taylor as North run right to left. Mullins takes the ball and says to Lomax, go back. Lomax it is that's brought down on that 20-metre line. Larson in the front line of defence with Billy Moore. That is Ken Magus. He's back in the Canberra top grade today, playing the ball. Albert Fullerby back on the benches. Quentin Pongia now, 35 out from his own line. An awesome comment from Tim Sheens to Peter Sterling in our preview. He made the point, he thought that Canberra still had something left in the tank, even though they've put away 4 or 5 of the better sides in the last 5 weekends of Rugby League. And the first kick of the game is spot on like a dart. It finds the line 12 metres out from the North Sydney line.
And is that a sign to come Ricky Stewart. His kicking game second to none in this competition, and to win semi-final football, you've got to play at the other end of the field. The opposition make a bust, you want them going 90 metres, not 9. Now the Raiders they'll muscle up in defence here and try and force a mistake.
Taylor working the first scrum of the match. Coming away with it is one of the season's leading try scorers, Sean Hoppy. Former Raider himself, he wasn't required really by the Raiders. En route to the Warriors, he was snapped up by North Sydney, and what a purchase he's been as Mark Soden, one of the big changes in the North Sydney lineup during the year, takes it out beyond the 30-metre line. He took the place of Tony Ray, the captain, and he wears the number 9 very proudly these days as Tony Hearn is tackled 11 metres further up the park from Soden back for Taylor. Stewart puts some pressure on the young halfback, and then the ball is away for the alternate kick from Steers, and it bounces down for Ken Nagas, who comes away 25 out from his own line.
Already we see the difference in the kicking game. Canberra, well, they've lost the football here, but they got the football in good field position. Only 35 metres out from their own line. There's been a penalty now awarded to Canberra for North Sydney raking the ball out.
It's an interesting ruling, this one, because Harrigan gave the indication that it was lost cold, and then he checked with his touch judge and gave the penalty. So Canberra's Ricky Stewart kicking for touch 35 metres out from his own line. The tap to be taken right on the halfway mark. And Lomax it is, met by Fennick in the front line of defence. Fennick appeals to the referee for something that happened in the tackle. It even looked like a biting allegation as Quentin Pongia is tackled 42 out from the line. Stewart comes from left to right and works the wide blindside, and Meninga is put away. Nagas again goes into dummy half. Mullins is in on that blind side. They may come back to him as Furner tries to gallop into a space, but Florimo is there with Fairley. And they're 35 metres out from the North Sydney line now, the Canberra Raiders, as Walters goes away and then throws a shocker of a pass. And Quentin Pongia can't take it, and Norths go on the attack now. They go across to the right, and there's Gary Larson met by Bradley Clyde. He's able to get the ball away as Clyde drops off the tackle. Cleary turns it in for Sears, and he's picked off by Furner. Now from Soden across for Taylor. They go to the 40-metre line as Fairley gets it away for Billy Moore, and Moore is put down. They lose some ground. They're back on the halfway. Fairley a dummy half, and Hearn it is. A short run, he's put down. And the first penalty of the match for North Sydney is given by Bill Harrigan.
And this will be a good field position here for North Sydney, because all through that mistake made by Steve Walters, very uncharacteristic by him to make a mistake like that, trying to pass the football to a man not in a better position than him. Tim Sheens looks on, and North now great attacking opportunity for them, 30 metres out from the Canberra line.
And David Fairley is a player to watch. He's the strike man when they get down around the 20-metre mark. Jason Taylor will look for some decoys, try and hit Fairley. The defence in two minds.
It's out with Billy Moore now, running towards the 20-metre line. Plays the ball back for Soden. Soden gets it to the 10-metre line. He gets inside it, in fact. Tackled by Stewart. Canberra under some pressure here. Taylor away for Fennick. The run around, then the quick pass for Florimo. Florimo taken out of it by Meninga. 12 metres out from the line. Larson for Taylor. Inside goes Fairley, and Fairley is met there by Daly. Juggles the ball, and Fairley will be tackled about 5 metres out from the line. Last tackle now for the Bears. Can they be the first to score? Soden across for Sears. The rebound came off Canberra, but that North Sydney player is ruled offside. Chris Caruana ruled offside.
Little kick put in here by Sears. Now it comes off a Canberra player, then back onto Sears, and Caruana was offside. So a good ruling there, under pressure by Bill Harrigan. But North's looked pretty good with the ball, Stella.
Well, it was important for them to start well. The funny thing at this end of the season, we're not going to see revolutionary new moves or plans that have been put away. Both sides will go back to what's been successful for them in getting them this far. I think we're going to see Brett Mullins operate a little bit differently to the last couple of weeks.
Rick Stewart's in awful trouble behind the line, Peter. I don't know whether it's a fracture or whether it's a dislocation. But Ricky Stewart in awful trouble behind his own line at the moment.
It he's getting back into the play now. As you can see, he's under some pressure there. But I do think we'll see Mullen starting to operate a little bit wider off Mal Meninga.
Ferner now, 35 metres out from his own line. Steve Walters goes for his first dummy half run. And that yields him about 5 metres further down the ground as Harrigan indicates the 5th tackle. It comes away. Stewart is okay. It was a dislocation, quite obviously, as he puts it down into that corner again. And it's Hoppy who's asked to bring it back, and he meets the cordon of defence. Nandruku makes the tackle together with Ruben Wiki. Now it's Cleary. A couple of tackles in the opening minutes. Canberra have fallen off them and have given just a little opportunity to North Sydney to advance the football. This is Billy Moore playing the match under a very emotional cloud. His mother died on Wednesday. He's been up to the funeral and back again. And on behalf of everybody in league, we extend our sympathies to them. Here's the touch judge in for this tackle.
Ruben Wiki has gone high here on Ivan Cleary. Cleary trying to set his winger up, who had a little bit of space out wide. Kind of got the impression that Cleary ducked into it. He was taken around the head area.
Well, there's nothing in that. I can't believe the touch judge ran in for that incident.
I don't think there's any doubt that Cleary, he lost his footing a little bit as well and ducked into it. Ruben Wiki had the arm hung out. Makes no difference. It's a penalty now, and Jason Taylor finds touch. Great kick, that one. 25 metres out. He had no room to work with.
So the tap to be taken by Norths just inside the 30-metre line. And here they are now, reaching the 20-metre point in the centre of the ground. No score in the first of the semi-finals. And across now for Billy Moore. Jason Croker in the number 11 jumper, playing in the second row with Rick Stewart in the 7. Soden away from the markers, then on for Fennick. Fennick goes for the power, but he's pulled down by Ferner. 9 metres out from the line. From Sears across through Florimo for Taylor, and Taylor is pulled down and tackled by Lomax and Stewart. Right in front of the uprights. Florimo out from dummy half. Larson taken by a crunching tackle. And this is tackle number 5 now. 2 metres from the line. Soden away for Taylor. Taylor goes to the air. It's a high bomb. It's a beauty. Down it comes. North have got an opportunity. 6 more tackles. Hoppy to play it. Soden. Fennick angles back in, looking for the try line. Gets the ball away. Hoppy beats one. Stands in another. Then he's put down. Canberra's defence again tested. Played back for Soden, now for Hearn. Hearn is held, gets the ball away. They've been able to do that a lot. Soden is tackled now, 1 metre from the line. The Bears with a couple left. Taylor with the long ball. Florimo gets away from a defender that came up quickly. Back on the ground, it's with Taylor. The pressure comes off for Canberra. It's Stewart getting it away now. And Canberra turn defence into attack just outside their 30-metre line.
Absolutely sensational performance in defence by Canberra there. Renowned easily as the best attacking outfit in the competition, but you can't do it without defence. They've held North Sydney out for 12 tackles there, now come up with possession and relieve the pressure.
Comments from Phil Gould joining us in our semi-final coverage today as Canberra go onto the attack and reach the halfway line through John Lomax.
And defensively, North Sydney have to match that. There's no doubt when you play the Raiders, they're going to bust you. They've got too many class attacking players not to. It's how you scramble and cover that. Depends on what kind of result you're going to come up with.
Nandruku now wrestled into the ground just inside the touchline. We're 43 metres out from the North Sydney line, and Bradley Clyde takes it up the middle. Fennick hit him with everything, and now it's across for Stewart. Stewart, he goes to the air. The breeze favouring Canberra slightly. A chance for the Canberra side. Harrigan stands over it and orders the turnover.
Well, a great kick there by Ricky Stewart. And Matt Sears, not the tallest player in the world, had problems getting up for that one. In the end, North come up with possession through the turnover.
This is Billy Moore now, just inside his own 10-metre line. And David Hall it is that takes the ball out to a safer region. That is Chris Caruana now.
Oh, yeah, lovely tackle. Big hit there by Pongia.
On the 30-metre line then. Still no score, although North Sydney have had their opportunities. The Raiders have been guilty of letting North offload the ball on a few occasions. It's probably the area of the game that Tim Sheens would be most concerned about as Taylor tries to drive them back inside their 20-metre line. Nagus comes away towards the 40-metre point. He's tackled about 38 out in the centre of the ground, and Walters is back to go to dummy half as a few of the Canberra players file back onside. Mullins looks for an opening. Mullins gets away from one, but he's pulled down in a desperate tackle over there by, it was Ivan Cleary. Now it's with Pongia. He's held on the 40-metre line. Pongia put away by Hearn and Fennick. Play back now for Steve Walters to go away from dummy half, and now the yards are starting to present themselves for Walters. Clyde goes into dummy half. Here's the call from Stewart. He puts on a long ball out for Daly. The kick is there. Meninga is pursuing, and back there to clean it up is David Hall.
Good wing play there from David Hall. Read the kick. Telegraphed a little bit there by Laurie Daly. The Norths are going to have all sorts of troubles. Big defence on Caruana. Little chip over the top from Daly. The chasers are onside, but Hall had read it. The Bears in trouble if they allow Laurie Daly to go one-on-one with Mario Fennick, or Brett Mullins to go one-on-one with the North Sydney back row.
Take a sideline comment from Steve Roach at this point in time.
Yeah, I think Canberra are in a little bit of trouble. I've already noticed Mal Meninga sprinting up out of the line on a couple of occasions. If Jason Taylor does see that, he will throw the ball wide and they'll catch Canberra out wide.
Soden getting out from dummy half and putting the kick on. Nagus it is now, who is brought down 40 metres out from his own line. A comment from Phil Gould.
Just interesting with the North Sydney kicking game. On 3 occasions they've had clearing kicks. They've kicked the ball to Nagus's wing. Now we can understand why they don't want to call it to Brett Mullins, but it's interesting that they see Kenny Nagus as less of a threat to them on kick return than probably Noah Nadruko on the other side. They are keeping the ball away, well away from Mullins though on their kick downfield.
Here's Lomax busting over the halfway line, but North Sydney have been caught inside the 10. And the penalty will go to Canberra in the centre of the ground, 47 metres out from the North Sydney line.
Steve Walters motioning he was going to take the quick tap. The first change has been made by the Canberra side. Hetherington out into the fray. David Furner has left the field. Steve Roach will find out. Looked as though he might have had a little bit of problem around the knee area. Hetherington, not a bad replacement, who's been in the starting lineup for much of the last couple of months of this season.
So Walters it is taking the tap just outside the 30-metre line, and John Lomax always willing to be the first, and he'll probably take it again on this set of 6. A willing worker up the front row there for Canberra. And now Pongia tempted to give the pass to Ruben Wiki, but he held it back at the last moment. Walters throws dummies around behind the ruck, and then Stewart finds Mullins. And Mullins is put down 20 metres out from the North Sydney line. The Bears did their homework well on that play. Hetherington steps from one tackle. He's pulled down 12 metres out from the line. Walters a dummy half. He goes to the left for Daly. Daly puts on the sprint. Here's a try, is it? Oh, what a tackle! It's a double movement, but Matt Sears, he's pulled off a ripper of a tackle.
Oh, tackle of the year, that one. One-on-one, a front rower on a little tiny fullback. Great inserting run there by Laurie Daly. A good ball. And look at the tackle by Sears. Ball. Oh, what a beauty.
Oh, he's a special talent, this kid. Got great acceleration. When you see tackles like that, you know that he's got a future. Defensively sensational there in his first semi-final. He forced a mistake and forced the Canberra player to come up with the double movement. Laurie Daly looked dangerous there. Giving too much room to Canberra inside backs.
Let's just make one other point too. If the referee hadn't have been right on the spot, that try could have easily been awarded. It was still a case of touch and go. Did the ball touch the ground? And Bill Harrigan was right on top of it. And now North Sydney with a little bit of chancy football. They find Florimo almost on the halfway line as Billy Moore promotes it now for Taylor to give for Cleary. And Cleary is taken out of it by Ruben Wiki. Tackle number 5 is with us. And here's Taylor putting a smaller kick, a chip kick over the top of the 3/4. And Mullins is there to run it back towards the 20-metre line. Mullins succumbing to the tackle of Larson over the top. And Chris Caruana, a very strong centre, particularly in defence, also in that tackle. Now Daly Daly probing for the opening. Cross now from Steve Walters, finding Bradley Clyde. And the penalty goes against North. They're not getting back the 10. Let's go down to the sideline. What's the story on David Furner?
Yeah, Dave Furner has a kneecap injury. The doctor's just having a look at him now to tell what the extent of the injury.
All right, well, that good run was made by Jason Croker, and away from Ricky Stewart. This pass has gone to no man's land. Mowell picks it up, and he's tackled 42 metres out from the North Sydney line. From Daly, a dummy half. Hetherington, he takes it ahead. Chance that he'll be out there for probably longer than he bargained for, young Hetherington. And of course, if Furner doesn't come back, then the goal kicking, of course, will revert to Mal Meninga. A task that I don't know that he enjoys all that much. It's with Stewart now, and Daly is with it as he goes away from the 30-metre line. And that's a good tackle by Mario Fennick. Fennick has been leading the way in defence as Stewart goes over the top. Here comes Nandruku, but oh, that's a great take by Sean Hoppy.
Oh, great take, and then he's away a great 20 metres. It's been the play of the match so far, that play there by Hoppy.
About the tackle from Matt Sears, that wasn't too dusty, but he's one of the coolest, calmest wingers in the game. Realises that there's a chance he'll be taken into the in-goal area. That would give the ball back to the opposition, and then he picks up 20 metres. It's a big play. Block on the sidelines.
Yeah, Laurie Daly in a bit of trouble with an ankle injury. He's moved out to the wing, and Nagas has moved into the centres.
Well, this match not panning out like many thought. It would be an easy one for Canberra, but at the moment the injuries tending to mount against them. 5 tackles gone, and the Bears have been able to get it down to the halfway line for Taylor to roll it down towards the in goal. Nandruku will bring it back away from the 10-metre line, and then met by Florimo and Cleary. Let's keep an eye on Daly. He's getting some feeling back into the ankle as Bradley Clyde crosses the 20-metre line. No score on the board, but there has been, as we talk about Canberra's injury problems, a noticeable drop-off in intensity around marker from North Sydney. Walters has found some space. So too has Bradley Clyde. As Daly is back in at 5'8", he unloaded that ball for Ruben Wiki, and he's brought down 38 metres away from his own line. Nandruku away for Daly. They're certainly not showing him any sympathy if he has got a bit of an ankle problem. Lomax is to play it now.
I don't doubt the toughness of the Canberra pack, but if I do have a question mark about them, it is how much work they do bringing the ball out of their own danger area. Really, again, so much emphasis comes back to the back line to get them out of there. As Matt Sears smashed by Hetherington and Mal Meninga, who's come up with some big tackles already in this game.
This is Caruana now, and they're out on the 30-metre line as the first of our semi-finals starts to settle down just a little bit. They all will start at a furious pace, there's no doubt about that. Now the stamina starts to come into it. As Fennick unloads and Larson goes ahead. Still, there hasn't been an absolute clean break. There's been plenty of half breaks. Clyde will be heading for the blood bin, it would seem.
It's an important tackle, that one. Gary Larson, if it had got outside, Clyde was into open spaces with support inside now. Cleary coming up quickly on the inside.
North still look dangerous when they spin the ball wide, and I don't think they're spinning it wide enough. There are, on occasions, been 1 or 2 players left over in an overlap situation as Clyde's off to the bin for a stitch or 2, and they need to get the ball out there quickly.
Something like that.
Very
Phil
fast.
Gould.
Yeah, mate, just on that point, Jason Taylor using up his forwards on the edge of the ruck. I think as we'll find as the game wears on, he'll miss those players and hit Greg Florimo standing wide with long passes. So the ball will go across or behind his forwards after he's used them up for a while. And I think we'll see Greg Florimo have a fair impact out on the edge of the ruck where Canberra's defence can be a little bit thin.
Well, now Mario Fennick has come from the field. Craig Wilson has gone on from the interchange bench. And from the blood bin bench, David Westley has gone on for Canberra. So no Bradley Clyde now, and he's out being mended for what looked like a fairly innocent nick above the nose area as Stewart comes across for Wiki, and Meninga was looking inside for Mullins. That was the play they were working for. A quick spread of the ball for Mullins to come inside Meninga. They didn't quite reach it. And now it's Wesley who's forced back, and in fact forced back further than they would have hoped. Walters has gone in for dummy half. No score, and a quarter of the game is gone. We're at the 20. Here's a chance for North Sydney. They come up with the ball on the halfway. Quickly to the blind side. Taylor turns it back to the centre. Florimo crosses the 40-metre line. Soden to dummy half. They want to quick play the ball. They get that. Ambling ahead is Tony Hurd. In the side in preference to Gavin Jones, and that's where they are. 25 out from the line. Taylor goes back to the right. He picks up Fairley. He lofts a pass out for Cleary. Cleary for Hoppy. Beats one and gets it back into the centre of the ground. Or heading back to the centre of the ground was Matt Sears. Played back to Ivan Cleary. Fairley from a standing start. Didn't get the quick play the ball that he wanted. Hetherington puts him away. And there's the 10-metre line just in front of them. Taylor goes to the air. It's got pinpoint accuracy. A chance for the Bears. An exchange of possession. And Harrigan's taking it back to the 20-metre line.
Almost fell into the arms of David Hall chasing. Eventually it was Ken Nagus, his opposition, that came up with the ball. But what about the great placement of the kick? Mal Meninga riding shotgun for Nagus there. Operating as the shepherd, gave him a little bit easier catch on the ball. Great kicking from the halfback from North Sydney.
Wesley now. David Wesley coming away from the 30-metre line. 21 minutes gone, nothing on the scoreboard. He's having an easy day, the scoreboard operator. Lomax now up the centre. Lomax will want to be careful. He got up and pushed the marker away, and he got a warning on the run from Harrigan. 5 metres from the halfway line, and there goes Steve Walters again, able to get the pass away, and Meninga it is that chimes in. Meninga will play it, and Walters is ready a dummy half again. Across now for Stewart. Stewart finding Daly. Daly kicks and looks for Nandruku. That turns Hoppy around. Hoppy watches it go over the sideline. And it will come out to the 10-metre line for the mandatory scrum.
Just over 20 minutes into the game, Ray, when you're playing semi-final football, the three positions you want to settle down quickly into the game are your hooker, your halfback and fullback. They're the ones under most pressure. Now, Canberra probably have the three best in the game in Walters, Stewart and Mullins, but I've been very impressed with the other three. Soden, Taylor and Sears, have settled into the game very, very quickly and playing a competent hand for their sides.
Tony Hearn has really justified his starting position today in the pack. President's Cup, Canterbury 24 defeated Illawarra 12 and Cronulla 12 over Canterbury 6 in reserve grade. But Hearn came into the side ahead of Gavin Jones, the regular front row, and he's done a great job, especially in the yard getting to park.
So we're out on the 20-metre line now, and North Sydney with David Hall, who was picked off like a grappling hook had got him from Laurie Daly. And now this is David Fairley, one of the season's most consistent players, rewarded with a jumper, the Australian jumper, when they played the Frenchman. Larson, one of the many Origin players in this battle today. A great semi-final series is underway with Manly and Brisbane tomorrow, and the Premiers Canterbury at home. More than likely here, in fact, watching it today and again tomorrow.
Well, the minor Premiers.
What did I call them? The Premiers. Maybe I think they will be the Premiers.
Oregon slip, Ray. Nagus gets involved centre field. It's been a first 25 minutes of near breaks where the back row of both teams have made sure that we haven't had clean ones. Brad Clyde on the fringe of the ruck. David Fairley's come up with a couple of beauties as well. Both sides yet to be broken. The closest, of course, Matt Sears coming up with a try saver on Lomax.
Hetherington then tries to puncture the defence. 40 metres out from the North Sydney line. 5 tackles gone. Stewart was aiming to kick and then went to the alternate kick of Daly. And Daly lands it down on the try line for Matt Sears to bring it back. Wicky's there waiting with Nandruku. My goodness, that corner down there, it's had plenty of business. The fans have seen plenty of the action down there today. It's the other side of the ground starts to feel the effects of the shadows, lengthening as this match lengthens in time as well. We've got 15 minutes of the first half remaining and still nothing on the scoreboard, and that is rather unusual with the 10-metre rule in existence these days in rugby league. Not too many matches have gone this far this year at 0-0. as Billy Moore is put away on the 40-metre line. The match going out to you live around Australia on the 9 Network. I hope you're enjoying it. Caruana and David Hall pursue the kick. It's still loose, waiting for North Sydney. 6 more tackles. Taylor couldn't take it from the feet, and Canberra come back with that.
Well, there was a chance there for North Sydney through the mess-up. Ricky Stewart couldn't get to the ball as Mullins makes a break. He's away.
Mullins is outside the 40-metre line. That's it. That is it. They couldn't possibly catch him. Mullins. Well, what about young Sears?
What about young Sears? What about Rugby?
Fair dinkum, you'd take 10s on, wouldn't you?
Well, it's got to be a penalty to Canberra here, no doubt. But they'd rather give 2 away North Sydney than 6. Almost a professional foul offence here, and it is. 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, if I told you that Brett Mullins had 5 metres start in a rugby league sprint with 50 to go, what would you do? Here they go, the Raiders for the corner. He's over. Croker. Jason Croker gets it down.
The quick tap, the long ball from Ricky Stewart. North Sydney didn't have time to get their defence set, and Stewart read the play perfectly. The long cut-out pass. You'll see here, I'm sure that North Sydney thought the tap was being taken. As we freeze it there, that man there is the widest North Sydney player. Have a look at the players for Canberra coming across. But the speed of Ricky Stewart in assessing the situation and the quality of the pass, it just got over the outstretched arms of David Hall. They had to take 2 points. It could be 6.
I know that, Pete, but in saying that, David Hall had to make a decision, and he made the wrong one. If he honed straight in on Croker, there's no try there. He went for an intercept, a miracle intercept, and he's paid the price. And Jason Croker had a fantastic season, now playing in the second row. Of course, he played most of his football at 5'8".
That's what probably separates Canberra from the other sides in the final 5, is that the confidence of their representative class players. Now, that was just to take the 2 points, kick in front, semi-final, nil-all situation. But Ricky Stewart, a player who backs his own ability, and a side that backs their ability to take the quick tap and throw a 30-metre pass just to get an extra 2 points. Mal Meninga with the kick at goal now to make it 6. But quick thinking and the confidence behind this Canberra team is what separates them from the rest of the field.
So Meninga from 22 metres out. And it left the boot nicely. Oh, it's straight on line. So Meninga adds to the scoreboard. Canberra leading North Sydney after 28 minutes, 6 points to 0.
Take on a tough job in tough country, and you usually have to get there on all fours. But when that's not enough, you just have to use your muscle. That's why there's a whole range of Mitsubishi Tritons with all the muscle of a big V6. And if you can't rely on a big V6 with four-wheel drive to get you there, who can you rely on?
Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, we've had a break of the deadlock. And 6 points to 0 in favour of Canberra. A try by Jason Croker as Steve Walters gets out to the 40-metre line. Daly is with it. Now it's Clyde. Question is, will Canberra go on with it from here, or will North Sydney put themselves back into the game almost immediately? 11 minutes of the first half to go as Stewart. Here's a call from Daly. Daly goes down the blind side. Daly looks for his winger. He finds the flying Fiji, and Nandruko. He's in for the Canberra try.
Well, Laurie Daly has probably looked Canberra's most dangerous attacking player, so it's no great surprise to see that he was the man that made the bust and then threw the select pass to his Fijian teammate, Noah Nandruko. A switch of play. There was a couple of bad missed tackles. Laurie Daly did it all himself, sucked in 2 defenders. You see that both Sears and Sean Hoppy went for the one man. It opened up a pretty big gap for Noah Nandruko, and he took full advantage.
He's looked one of their best, Laurie, hasn't he? His running has been incisive. He sets up that try. Gary Larson did a good job here to keep Nandruko honest. But North Sydney, they've missed about 10 tackles in the last 2 sets of 6, and their defence is falling apart to theirs.
Well, how do you how do you stop the leak when it starts with players like Stewart, Daly, Clyde, Mullen, Meninga, Phil Gould?
Well, it's just again, I mean, Laurie Daly there, theoretically there was nothing on down the blind side, but Laurie Daly looked at faces. He saw some tired men there, and he saw a couple of backs who were just wandering back to position. Although he didn't have the numbers, he knew he could do something. He confidently called for the ball, took them on, and was able to make the break and put Nadruku away. And again, it just gets back to confidence in your own ability, which certainly Canberra lack nothing of.
I think he might be over his injury, Ray, Laurie Daly. Listen, he timed his comeback nicely. Nagus in the side as well.
Something like that play, Peter, as Mal prepares to convert. Would Stewart have heard the call from Daly? Would Daly overcall Stewart in a case like that?
Well, I don't think Ricky Stewart threw the pass back that way just because it seemed to be a good thing to do in his own mind. I'm sure that it must have been a call. Mal didn't hit that one particularly well.
And so the scoreboard remains at 10 points to nil. We've got 8.5 minutes of the first half remaining. Canberra 10, North Sydney 0.
If you're looking for a hard-working Australian company, look for the one that's been taking care of big business and small business for over 75 years. And if you're looking for one that puts its money where its mouth is, look for the one that supports community safety and backs Australian sport, win, lose or draw. Look for Australia's MMI, the quality standard in insurance.
10-0 then the scoreline. 2 tries for the Raiders. They came pretty much back-to-back. Croker scoring and then Nadruku. I must admit I'm still rather flabbergasted by the thought that Mullins will be run down, and I've got to pay a huge compliment to Matt Sears. He has stopped Canberra from scoring 2 certain tries. So what future this kid has got in the game I'm not certain of, but I know Peter Sterling thinks there's nothing beyond him.
He's a super player, but I think you've actually stopped one of the Canberra tries, Ray. You said Mullins would score.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'd stop the Southern Aurora. I make no apologies for it either as well. Stewart puts them down into the in-goal area. He finds the touchline. It'll come back to the 20-metre line for the restart.
Yeah, 7 minutes from half-time is an important period here for North Sydney. They're down 10 points to 0, and that's not irretrievable. They'll still have the belief that they can score a couple of tries in this game, but 14 or 16 might be beyond their reach. They've got to get to half-time without Canberra scoring again.
Of course, those 2 Canberra tries coming with North Sydney reduced to 12 men. Sears in the bin.
Another replacement made by Canberra. John Lomax has left the field again. He might be carrying an arm injury. David Wesley back out in 43 as North go wide. There's a bit of a chance here for Cleary.
Canberra's defence, as you can see, sliding across to meet the enemy. Play very compressed defence. Then slide in the event of the opposition trying to get outside them. It's with Taylor now, and he lets Larson go before finding Florimo. Billy Moore did well. Florimo puts a kick out to the wing, and it's been picked up by Nagus. Swooped upon it. I'm not going to say it this time, but I think he's going to score. Yes, he does. Nagus puts it down.
And again from a North Sydney mistake. The ball not bouncing their way, but they've got to take much of the blame themselves. The passes have been ill-directed. And Nagus, another speed machine, swooped on the loose ball. Let's have a look. This is the bad pass coming up. Well, it was the kick there that wasn't taken. Great pick-up from Nagus off his bootlaces. And nobody in front. And remember, this is all happening while Chris Caruana is in the sin bin. Sears that time couldn't come up with the saver.
Yeah, my apologies, it wasn't Sears in the bin. He made a valiant chase here on Nagus. But too many mistakes by North Sydney. It's all Canberra at this stage. Very brave call there by Ray to call that try 1 metre out from the line. Mind you, as soon as he said that, he tripped.
Shut up, will you, please? Elio Fennick's head goes down with the other North Sydney supporters.
Unbelievable. In the space of, what, 5-6 minutes, it's gone from 0-all.
That's right.
To 14-0 with a kick to come, and it's just all Canberra. And it's an amazing how 12 against 13 changes the fate of any football match.
15 minutes ago, I think I made the profound statement that I hadn't seen a game under the 10-metre rule go this long at 0-0.
Yeah, well, Peter Louis wants some words with you. He's already sent the message up as Mal moves in. He's hit the post. That's something of a let-off. 14 points to 0. Should have been 16. Phil Gould was exactly right saying that these last couple of minutes were going to be crucial for North Sydney. It's the danger time. It's always the danger time. And Ken Nagus, the loping stride, so little effort, but so effective. Proves the position a little bit. It was to no avail. And Lincoln missing the conversion. Now we'll see the character that North Sydney possess. There to get back into this game, they've got to do it quickly.
And as we watch Mal Meninga unsuccessful with his last couple of attempts, one starts to think about the forward journey for Canberra, and are they going to be asked to do it without David Furner? And during the halftime break, we might be able to ascertain just what the medicos think about David. A knee injury took him out of the game, and that's why you're seeing Mal Meninga with the goal-kicking duties. If in fact you joined us a touch late. Hetherington, who came on to replace Furner, is put over. And North Sydney looking up at a scoreboard that could have easily read 20 points to 0. 5 tackles gone then for Canberra as it comes away for Stewart. And I get the feeling they want some more of this. Meninga gets rid of one. Nagus goes into a hole, but the ball goes loose. And it comes down to Larson, but it's recalled by Harrigan.
I think it's any secret that Canberra have really put some pressure today on Jason Taylor. They searched for him in the North's defensive line and run at him on that occasion. Mal brushed him aside quite easily.
And Chris Caruana is back out of the bin. David Fairley looks for an opening that seldom presents itself. North's had the better of the opening exchanges. In fact, I thought for a moment that Canberra might have been on an off day. They're letting North City players stand and offload, but suddenly the machine has clicked into gear, and they've put 3 tries together in a period of 10 minutes in the game, and North Sydney are very much on the back foot. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half as Billy Moore, he didn't get a clean shot at that pass from Jason Taylor. 35 metres out from the Canberra line. An eventful first half, let me tell you. Brad Clyde.
We've had some good players, Canberra. Brad Clyde has been strong. He's heavily involved in both attack and defence. Ricky Stewart's been the master. Laurie Daly had an outstanding first half, and this man Pongia along with Lomax were great.
Add to that the fact that 2 of the 3 tries have been scored by the flankers, by the wingers. Here's Croker taking the ball up the centre. Now Canberra give the impression that they're not worried about going through the centre of North Sydney. They've been going to the extremities, as the scoreboard would suggest. This is David Wesley tackled on the 30-metre line. And now from Walters on tackle 5 across for Stewart. He goes out wide. He's looking for Nandruku. He's coming quickly. And he's put it down. Sears has to clean it up.
Well, nearly another try there to Canberra. 1 or 2 of those Canberra players gave up on the chase. You should never give up. There was 1 man there, a couple more behind if they stay alert.
I think it was Ruben Wiki. There he is now.
Ruben Wiki, he went to dreamland. And he could very well have had the 4th Canberra try the first half.
Just a matter of seconds remaining now in the first half of the first semi-final. The minor preliminary in front of a big crowd. The Rugby League will be ecstatic with this, the opening day's crowd. Saturdays notoriously have let them down, particularly this semi-final. But if this is any indication, tomorrow it'll be standing room only, of which there is none at the Sydney Football Stadium. They go wide for Daly, and then the run around for Stewart. He double pumps the dummy, and Mullins comes in 18 metres out from the North Sydney line. Stewart and Mullins, they're starting to develop a combination. Now the drop goal to rub some salt into injury, and it is wide. Well, siren, that will come as a blessing. As a matter of fact, there it is now. And the Chief Destroyer with his captain. They exchange words as they head for the dressing rooms. Canberra with 3 tries Croker got one that I thought Mullins would score. I make no apology for that. And then the flankers, Nandruku and Nagus, got the other two. We lost David Furner with a knee injury. Mal Meninga took over the goal kicking, and they've only been able to land one from, I imagine, 4 shots at goal. And so North Sydney with their heads very much down. They go back to hear what Coach Peter Louis has to say for them. Peter Louis, you mightn't believe it, statistically is the most successful of the semi-final coaches in 1994. I wonder, can he do a Messiah act in there? It looks like he might have to. 14-0 half-time. Canberra over North Sydney.
Step into the future. Ozcom 94 returns to Canberra for the 6th year with over 200 products on display. Ozcom 94, admission is free. Don't miss your chance to see the latest in products or to attend the extensive seminar program. Ozcom 94, a total learning experience. National Convention Centre, Wednesday and Thursday, 7th and 8th September.
The definitive Simon & Garfunkel, available in Australia for the very first time.
And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Catch the sound of silence. Silent night.
20 timeless songs you will never forget. The definitive greatest hits of Simon & Garfunkel. Great memories, classic hits.
Enjoy the protection and comfort of a warmer winter with a Spanline Weatherstrong Building Systems Great Aussie Sunroom, and you'll have extra living space all year round. A Spanline Great Aussie Sunroom can be designed to suit your existing home. The tough exterior colour world finish is attractive and strong enough to withstand the elements. Now for a limited period, Spanline will give you a $350 floor covering allowance. That's a $350 discount to floor cover your Great Aussie Sunroom this winter. Now that's a great Aussie idea.
For the latest in Canberra news, the choice is Win News.
The ACT government has made the installation of smoke alarms compulsory in all new homes.
6:30 National 9 News with Brian Henderson.
The bulk of our Commonwealth Games team arrived home this morning.
And at 7 o'clock, Ray Martin, A Current Affair. There's no better choice in news and current affairs.
Oh, that's why Canberra looks to win.
Champion Rugby League sides have always shown great ability in absorbing pressure and then scoring points quickly, and that's exactly what we saw from Canberra in the first half of this major preliminary semi-final. At the half-time break, they lead North Sydney 14 points to nil. A mad flurry of points at the end there, 27 minutes before the first point was scored, and then the Raiders almost able to score at a point a minute. And no coincidence, Paul, that they'd had up against 12 men with Chris Caruana going into the bin. North had started so well also.
North played very well the first portion of the match, Pete, but Canberra, once they got a bit more possession than normal, they're a very hard team to stop, and their players are running right. Some of the North players aren't handling the pressure of semi-final football at all. Too many mistakes by them.
Well, semi-final, it is completely different, and inexperience that's probably shown out in a couple of areas. Not so with Matt Sears. The biggest play early in the game came with a tackle on a much bigger man from yourself. No doubt it was a try-saver.
That's right. I mean, you'd see tackles like this one from blokes like Graham Eadie, masters of the past. Magnificent tackle here. Pongia at full pace, and he threw himself at him. That's a fantastic player. Put his body in the line, and the referee right in position there to rule a double movement, and from what we can see, a very fair decision.
Well, all season we've wrapped Matt Sears carrying the football, but coming up with tackles like that, it just shows that he's got all facets of the game covered. Now, North Sydney really had an opportunity. They came up with a drop ball when they really looked dangerous. It was 6 again. Jason Taylor got a bad pass down around the bootlaces. In the twinkling of an eye, Canberra capitalised, but here's North Sydney. They really could have had the first points on the board.
Well, that was the match virtually. North with all the pressure on the Canberra line, and just basic mistakes have really cost them. North Sydney, they played pretty well, and they had some space here to move, to use. Not often you catch Canberra short like that, and Jason Taylor, look, it would have been a miracle take. But those, once again, it comes back to pressure and mistakes, and in semi-finals, if you don't catch those footballs, then it all goes wrong for you.
Well, the key to that incident was that he had some North Sydney player support coming up. Gary Larson appeared, but there were 2 or 3 other players.
And not too many Canberra defenders about.
But straight away, Brett Mullins almost under the post. Rabbi had him in, but Matt Sears again came to the fore.
Yeah, it was like an anvil around him as soon as Rabbi jumped on the bandwagon. Magnificent. Look, there's nothing doing, is there? But once again, the Canberra markers, they don't work. Mullins is out. That's very poor marker play. No one chased him. Taylor in the end made a half-pie go. Now, what? Sears has given him 5-6 metres. He's not even in screen. He comes and just keeps going at him. And Mullins nearly got there. Sears, 2 of the best tackles I've seen ever in semi-final football, in pressure football.
Sears not only gave him 5-metre start, he came from a standing start and was able to round him up. Mullins was on the fly, so it was incredible to think that he could have picked up one of the quickest players in the game. Well, the first try eventually did come, and it was no surprise that Canberra were able to bust out wide, because they did look as though they were going to start making some gaps there. North Sydney players making some mistakes, but it came from a quick tap.
Well, this is the foresight, Sterlo, of a player like Ricky Stewart. He's looked where the North defenders were. He saw a couple of green jerseys right out wide, and a great ball. I thought David Hall might have erred. There's probably not much he could have done in the long run, but he should have just gone for the man. In the end, a Canberra try, and that was the game. The game changed, and now Canberra well on top.
And that try, of course, resulted from the fact that Chris Caruana came up with a professional foul 10 minutes in the sin bin, and you just can't defend against a Canberra team when you've got one player short. Noah Nandruku capitalised on some great work from Laurie Daly.
Laurie Daly, and good work by Ricky Stewart as well. A nice switch of play. He heard Daly calling, and Daly there inside. Look, some pretty ordinary defence here by North Sydney, and just drifted across, found the flying Fijian on the run there, and from that position no one was going to stop Noah Nandruku.
They do have great speed on the wings, but it seems that when things aren't going well for you, then the mistakes, the drop balls, they always seem to pay the highest penalty, and it's obviously putting tries on the board. Again, North Sydney, they didn't have any real danger out wide until the little kick didn't go to hand, and Nagas picked up and ran away for 60 metres.
Well, that's the funny thing about semi-final football. When you make mistakes, more often than not, you do get penalised. And from this, it was always going to be a try. You know, a loose ball, the chip, and Hall, he couldn't bend his back, and Nagas just strides away. He's got fresh air in front of him, no defenders there. He's just a bit of a loping run there, a nice action, and over he goes.
Well, there was nothing in this game for the first 25 minutes. Really, the last 15 minutes has seen 4 line breaks from Canberra. They've nearly all been tries. A lot of missed tackles from the Bears, 13, and they hadn't missed that many too early. The work from the forward packs has been quite good, and again, no surprise to see the likes of Larson on top.
That's right, but whilst he's done 19 tackles, I'm sure Peter Louis would like to see more work rate there, more than 4 hit-ups. Tony Hearn has had a pretty good game, and Billy Moore and Feely, of course, doing plenty of work in the hit-up department. For Canberra, Jason Croker leads the tackle count, and look at the work done by Pongia and Lomax. The rocks up front, the rocks of Dubrola, they're doing a fantastic job for the Raiders.
Well, plenty of work for North Sydney to do in this second half, as there is for Channel 9 people. Tomorrow, the footy show is a 90-minute version, basically a Dally M's presentation. You will see who has been deemed to be the top performers through the 94 season. Don't miss out at 12 o'clock. And, of course, tomorrow afternoon, the elimination semi-final from the Sydney Football Stadium, the minor preliminary between the Manly Sea Eagles and the reigning premiers, the Brisbane Broncos. Check your local guides as to when you will see that game. But at half-time here, 14 points to 0. It's all the Raiders. Don't write off North Sydney yet. They've shown a lot of character throughout the season, but they've got a tough job. We'll take a break now and be back with all the second half action very shortly.
Somebody help me!
Do you believe what you saw was real?
Sunday, a premiere thriller that will take your breath away.
We are talking about fate.
Kenneth Branagh and Oscar winner Emma Thompson.
Two hearts, the same person.
A tragic tale.
We could always impress you.
Of love.
Take you back 40 years.
Gone wrong.
No!
Sometimes a trauma in a present life can lead you back to a trauma in a past life.
With Robin Williams, Andy Garcia and Derek Jacobi. Dead Again. Sunday, 8:30 on Win.
Bell's Dry Cleaners, keeping the green machine clean. Battling against dirt and grime, the Grime Fighters from Bell's. The clean team, keeping the green machine as clean as a whistle. Now open in Kaleen.
This is Pete's Golf Connections brand new store in Barrier Street, Fishwick, opposite Harvey Norman. Before Pete moves in, that's everything in his Townsville Street store has got to be sold at near cost price or under by 6 p.m. this Sunday. No reasonable offer will be refused on clubs, bags, buggies, shoes, clothing, putters, golf balls and accessories. You'll find Dad the perfect Father's Day gift at prices so cheap they're ridiculous. Pete is open till 9 this Friday night and from 8 till 6 this weekend. But you better hurry because Pete's Townsville Street store closes for good 6 p.m. this Sunday.
John Scott runs a restaurant. Always dealing with the public. Has to look smart and keep his cool. He wears new King G permanent press pleats.
Congratulations.
New fabric, new colours, new style.
One moment, madam.
Scotchguard stain relief. And keeps a knife edge crease. Pretty cool choice. New King G permanent press pleats. When you need to keep you cool.
This weekend, the international long-range forecast is perfect with lows all over the world. These lows will be affecting the USA, Canada and the UK. There are lows over Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, the Philippines, Malaysia and Singapore. New Zealand looks fine as well with a low throughout. So there you have it. Optus is 20% lower to these countries this weekend. Why not spread a little sunshine around the world?
And it's easy to save even more with Optus. Call the Optus switch line now. You'll find out how to switch to Optus and join our other customers who save even more on their long-distance calls. Call Optus now.
One Canberra printer has the new Xerox DocuTech publisher that reproduces faster and better than just about anything else. So call Panther, the fastest copycat in the business.
Bell's Dry Cleaners, keeping the green machine clean. Support the clean team in the fight against dirt and grime. The Grime Fighters. Bell's Dry Cleaners, now open in Kaleen, keeping the green machine clean.
Weeknights, Jim Whaley presents a complete coverage of the day's events in Australia's premier late news bulletin, Nightline, with Jim Whaley on Win Television.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium, where Canberra are leading North Sydney at half-time, 14 points to nil, but more importantly by 3 tries to nil. And those 3 tries came in the concluding 18 minutes of the first half. We got locked up at 0-0, and then the deadlock was broken, with Jason Croker getting over the line. And then with Caruana in the sin bin, another try followed. Then near half-time, Ken Nagus was able to put the third of the treble of tries down for Canberra. And they lead 14 to nil. I don't know whether North Sydney can come back from this. Steve Roach is on the sidelines. What have you to report, Steve?
Yeah, well, Peter Louis not very happy with his North Sydney side in the first half. He'd like to see them improve their kicking game. He said, look, we're trying to play like Canberra. I haven't seen us try to move the ball as much in our own half as we had today against Canberra. We've got to play our own game plan, not theirs, in the Canberra dressing room. Look, Tim Sheen just said, fellas, don't go to sleep. We've got to go on with it from here. John Lomax has an AC joint. That's a shoulder joint. He won't be back today, but hopefully he'll be right for next week. And David Ferner will be back. So that's good news for the Canberra side.
They are moving slightly faster than some of the personnel last night, Stephen.
They certainly are. Gee, there were some big units here last night, wasn't there?
Yes.
I felt all right, actually.
Actually, you ran in front of the sight board once, and I couldn't see the sight board. How did you pull up?
Mate, I'm a little bit sore, but I reckon there'd be a few worse off than me, so I'm happy about that.
Good luck to you and all of those fellows that took part last night for charity up in Brisbane. We thank you on behalf of the public for doing what you did. It was a tremendous thrill for a lot of people to see all of those great names go round last night. 14-0 then, Canberra over Norths. Bill Harrigan waiting to blow time on. Bears, is it in their makeup, Sterlo, to come back from this?
Oh, I've got no doubt, Ray, that they can come back, but obviously they have to be the team that scores first. Probably the only team that scores in the second half. I like the North Sydney side. I think that they're steely in everything that they do. They're not going to throw the towel in by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, in the back of their minds, or everybody's minds now, that there is a second bite of the cherry, so all is not lost, but they need to have a good 40 minutes to give them a platform for next week.
So the second half is underway, and Soden is tackled about 25 metres out from his line. Just repeating the news from the dressing room that John Lomax has an AC joint injury.
It's an acromioclavicular joint, Ray.
Thank you. You sound like Don Burke. Sounds like a gardening term, but Lomax won't be back. He'll be back next week, though, and that's the good news for Canberra. Same applies to David Furner, and they're going to need him, that is for sure. Here's Mullins now on the return, and he's held and shovels the pass off for Nandruku. See, this is the part about Canberra. It was a very small, simple play right there, but even when they're in front 14-0 and everything is signed, sealed and delivered, they want to throw the ball around inside their own 20.
He picked up a bit of a back problem there too, Brett Mullins. He's slow to his feet. He's at the back of the Canberra lineup now, holding the back. He's stooped over. A bit of trouble the last couple of weeks, of course, was hurt against Illawarra, came back on. Just took a pretty heavy knock offloading there to Nandruku.
Steve Walters to play it now near the halfway line. Dummy half Daly. Daly kicking out of dummy half, and now Matt Sears. What an unbelievable semi-final he's already had. Win, lose or draw. Sears put away 18 metres out from his own line. Cleary coming in to take a play. Outstanding young player, Ivan Cleary, finding himself permanently in the centres with North Sydney these days. Such was the case when Matt Sears made such a job of the fullback position. And now it's Tony Hearn. North's just grinding their way out, 40 metres almost from their own. Was there a knock on? Yes, there was. By the dummy half, Mark Soden. Now, here's danger for North Sydney because Canberra will come up with the football off that knock on, 35 metres out from the North Sydney line. Tomorrow, Manly versus Brisbane, first of the sudden death semi-finals. And that will be played before a packed house, I'm sure. As Canberra win the scrum, and Brad Clyde picks it up from the back of the scrum, beats one, beats two, inside ball for Nagas. Nagas is put away.
And a great carrying tackle by the North Sydney hooker, Mark Soden, out of the scrum. They go wide.
It's with Stewart. He shortens the pass up. Daly angles back. Stewart gets a hand to it. Pongia comes up with the loose ball. Daly slowly to his feet. Walters offloads. Hetherington looks to the 10-metre line. That's where he's put away. Walters into dummy half. Canberra looking for yet another try. Pongia with a short pass. Wesley is with it. Got a ball out the back. Pongia is with it. And then he tries to throw Greg Florimo away. Has to play the ball. Walters gives it on. It's with Stewart. Now Daly. Then Wiki. And Wiki is now about to play the ball 7 metres out from the North Sydney line. The last tackle as Daly spreads the ball for Stewart to keep it low. Tries to get behind David Hall. Will he get back into the field of play? Yes, he does.
So close to another try there from the scrum win from Canberra. We've got a blood bin here. That's Ken Nags, a pretty nasty cut. See down top of the forehead. Guess that would have been the result of the tackle when the All But scored. As Paul Wharton pointed out, great tackle from Mark Soden. He must have broken very quickly. Albert Foulabai comes onto the wing that he's on for most of the second half of this season.
Did you see what Canberra did from that particular scrum, Pete? They put Bradley Clyde on Jason Taylor, and Clyde just ran away from Taylor. So it's obviously they pinpointed Jason that maybe he's got a deficiency in his defensive game. And they're proving to be right.
So North Sydney No threat to Canberra from down this end of the park. It is their job to come back from a 14-0 deficit. Soden has put away inside the 30-metre line. And now Hearn. Wesley went in for the tackle, got bumped off him, was lying on the ground, and Hearn ran over the top of him again. So Wesley pulled him down, and now we go down to Mullins just outside his 20-metre line. He uses Nandruku once more. Nandruku, who scored a try in the first half. Stewart on for Hetherington. Wiki coming up on the outside of him. Hetherington taking it to ground. Canberra giving the impression that they're not going to slow down. They're not going to try and close this game up. They want to play their natural game. 14-0 in front. And looking for that appointment next weekend with Canterbury, the minor premiers. Of course, the loser of this match will fall back to play the winner of tomorrow between Manly and Brisbane. And not held in the tackle, Steve Walters is able to improve and take the football down to the 20-metre line. 5 tackles gone. North Sydney's end of the ground, away from Wesley into the arms of Stewart. He puts the little left foot kick over the top, and Sears, with his mind totally trained on the game, plays the ball. And a bad pass out of dummy half by Jason Taylor for Craig Wilson. But Wilson, who's got great hands, is able to take it. And now it goes on to the next play for Taylor and Florimo to combine. And Florimo is in the hands of Ruben Wiki. 40 metres out and Soden away from dummy half. They angle fairly back and Florimo waits on the blind to flick past for Cleary. Cleary is put down. They're not going ahead with any great gusto. It comes away from Hoppy through Taylor onto Hearn out wide. And he's going to be put down. 45 metres out, and that's 5 tackles gone. Soden scurries into dummy half work. And Sears comes up on a wide blindside, puts the kick in. And Mullins is back there. He's got his companion Nandruku with him, but there's a swarm of bears now taking him to ground. Mullins submits to that tackle.
Somehow North Sydney have got to string together a couple of sets of 6 in a row. It's not enough just to work the ball down, kick the ball back to Canberra and let them work it out. Somehow they've got to get 10, 12, 16 tackles in a row. That's when they're a chance of busting the opposition.
Fullerby now. Mullins is still clutching at that left kidney area. Peter Sterling referred to it earlier, but he hasn't been well ever since. And there's a lot of attention focused on Brett Mullen. It might not be David Furner and John Lomax who is their major concern. If the Raiders have any concerns, it might be over Brett Mullins as this ball comes back for Matt Sears to bring it out to the 20. Oh, gee, that's a long pass, and they put it down. They offered the mistake. Nandruku gets it away for Ruben Wiki. Wiki away for Clyde. Clyde on for Stewart. Stewart has to do the dancing. He does that. He heads for open spaces. He's still going. Stewart. Magnificent stuff. 7 metres out from the North Sydney line. Wesley. He's put away. 3 metres out from the line. Stewart is at first receiver. Meninga's on the blind side. Will they chance that? Stewart comes wide. Out for Bradley Clyde. Hetherington's on his left. Clyde looks to go the other way. He does that. And here's another try for Quinton Pongia. Quinton Pongia puts the ball down for the try.
Gee, I've got grave doubts about that try. Really look forward to me, the pass from Quinton Pongia. Very rare to say, but Ricky Stewart did bomb a try earlier on. He'd have given the ball to Mal Meninga. Broken the scoreboard when they stopped him. Bad pass from Matt Sears. His first blue of the game. Well, he cost his side dearly. You see Stewart going across, looking to pick someone. If he gave it to Mal there, I think Jason Taylor would have had trouble stopping him.
And in the end, the final result, probably not the best angle this one, but this pass from Clyde, he makes a little break there, Harper, and that's dead set forward, that pass to Pongia. But still, North's mistakes, it cost them dearly in this match.
This is the angle you were looking for.
This is the one we want.
Let's have a look at the line, see if that gives us a guide. Clyde throws the ball. I don't think there's any doubt it's forward.
No doubt about it whatsoever, and mistakes by North Sydney have cost them a couple of tries here. Mistake by Hall, and that pass by Sears didn't have to be thrown. It's a big game Quentin Pongia, big season as a matter of fact, especially the last 6 weeks. Came back from injury and been playing some great football.
So Meninga with 1 from 3. Has this shot to convert the try of Quentin Pongia. That looks better off the boot, and Meninga gets the further 2. Canberra then leading North Sydney by 20 points to 0 now. Points to 0 in favour of Canberra as they take it away from their 20-metre zone. Their first set of 6 since the try. And Quentin Pongia, the try scorer, is picked up and put away by Billy Moore. And he's lost the ball. So a chance here for the Bears as Caruana scurries away, but it's a penalty to North Sydney. Wilson goes in and takes a quick tap. Taylor comes to the 20-metre line, uses Greg Florimau. Caruana was there to promote it even further, and Caruana plays the ball back for Soden to give on to Taylor, and then over for Hearn. Tony Hearn will play the ball. Centre of the ground, that's where they're at. It comes across for Florimau. Back inside goes David Fairley. Fairley is very close to the line. A chance for North Sydney to get on the board. It's with Jason Taylor, and then across for Craig Wilson. He's over the line. The ball is down with downward pressure. That's got to be a try. It is. Norths get their first try.
Well, it doesn't make Mario Fenech any happier, but they're on the board. And a fairly soft try, that one. I think Tim Sheens would be very disappointed. I believe that his side thinks the game is wrapped up. That's dangerous thinking. You see here they're sliding Canberra. They didn't come out to meet the players at all, and in the end Wilson didn't have a great deal to do except getting the football down once he'd got through the defence.
There's plenty of defence there too, wasn't there? And Wilson did very well to get the footy down under all that the green jumpers there on top of him, and got it down with pressure wraps. You're not going to get it down with upper pressure, are you?
Oh, you should stop taking me lines.
Well, is that the catalyst that North Sydney need to send them into a...
Just look at the rule book, Fatty.
Well, there's 28 minutes to go, so the stranger things have happened. It would help if Taylor could come up with one of his miracle conversions and turn 4 into 6. That'd be a 14-point deficit. And again, they would have to score very quickly. There would be a chance in this game.
He very seldom misses, this lad. 77% success rate. And Jason Taylor brings them back to 20 points to 6 after 52 minutes.
There we see Canberra waiting back there. They're only 2 or 3 metres out from their own line. You've really got to sprint up and meet the defence quickly. That's where the intensity has got to be at its best in defence. You'd like to have it all over the park, but on your own line. Laurie Daly looks around. Ricky's left on the ground. Not sure what happened.
Oh, Mario was happy about the try, wasn't he? He's ecstatic, jumping up and down. I don't think he's too happy because he's not in the football field. He loves his football, Mario. He wants to be out there.
Steve, on the sidelines, what's the story on Brett Mullins?
Yeah, Brett Mullins has a rib injury. He's just got inside to get a needle. He'll be back out. David Furner warming up on the sideline. Also, Kenny Nagas with a nasty gash to the forehead.
I noticed, Ray, that Gavin Jones has also gone on the field for Tony Hearn.
I just got a feeling there, Paul, watching that try by North Sydney, that there might have been a shade of last Sunday's performance from Canberra coming through again. Remember, they got Manly on the rack and they let them in for a couple of tries late as well.
They had Manly down 21-6. There's a high shot there by Canberra, as I noticed by Harrigan, but it's a trait they don't want to carry through these semi-finals, one that Timmy Sheens will want to stamp out very, very quickly.
North's on their way back to the halfway line. Phil Gould.
Interesting that Canberra haven't replaced Brett Mullins at this stage. I mean, they're out there with 12 men and Ricky Stewart back at fullback. That's an awfully brave play in a semi-final situation. You can see here North Sydney got big numbers again.
Larson down to the 20-metre line. Well taken by Florimo. Back inside for Gavin Jones, and he gives it to Laurie Daly. Yes, Phil.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the Canberra players think this game is over, that'll be a sheer reminder that North Sydney is still prepared to give themselves a chance. And I don't think Tim Sheens can blame his players if he's going to go with 12 men for whatever period it takes to get Brett Mullins back on the field. Canberra scored 3 tries while North Sydney were down to 12 men with a player in the sin bin. It's not beyond the realms of possibility for North to do the same.
And while they do have 12 players out there, running the football on the last tackle will be the option. That's what they did on that occasion. Last it busted. Ball back inside here. Great pass to Fullervine, but it's been ruled forward. Wasn't that great? The game looked dangerous out wide. And that's been the problem. North Sydney missing simple tackles. As David Furnick now comes back onto the field.
At the same time as Brett Mullins and Quentin Pongia comes off. So Canberra back to their full complement now. David Furner running quite freely. Ken Nagus is about to come back into the game as well. Cleary with the runaround with Caruana. Sears comes into the back line. Florimo crosses the 40-metre line. And that tackle was a bit high, and the penalty has been given against Jason Croker in the number 11 jumper.
So now North gets some momentum in this match, and Brett Mullins is still not right. After that tackle on Sears, he's still holding his injury. He's not 100% at all, and Norths are on a roll.
Soden takes the tap, and Gavin Jones wedges the attack inside the 10-metre line. Soden once more for Larson. Larson getting dangerously close to the line. Soden, a dummy half, goes back to the blind side. The pass was beautifully directed to David Fairley. He plays it now. Soden goes himself. 2 metres out from the line, held by Croker. Cleary's pass on for Taylor. Then it's Craig Wilson. He tries to get a pass away, and Harrigan says play on. Tackle number 5.
Could nearly have been 6 again. Important if they don't score here, they get the ball into the in-goal area. Oh, nearly an intercept.
Taylor's long pass taken out wide, put on the boot. It goes into touch, but I think you'll find the pass was forward, or there was a knock-on, in fact, by David Hall out on the wing.
It's got to be a little bit critical in North Sydney with that set of 6. It was an important set for them. They came up with 3 settled plays in the set of 6 in the opposition quarter. They didn't keep the ball moving anywhere near enough to test the Canberra defence. They've got to score points. They can't just be hitting the ball up 1 out in the opposition quarter.
Nagus back on the park now. He's played the ball, and this is Bradley Clyde. Canberra 4 tries to 1, leading 20 points to 6. 23 minutes to go in the game. The first semi-final of the Winfield Cup for 1994. Going to you live around Australia.
It really was a very important set of 6 for North. You could see his driving tackle from Billy Moore on Mal Meninga. They'd lifted North. They'd got a little bit of a sniff of what could have happened. They've got their first points on the board. If they could have got to 12, trailing by 8, a whole new ball game. All of a sudden, Canberra now through Ricky Stewart out of trouble.
Ball bouncing back inside the 30-metre line for Sears. And he uses Hoppy now. The ball is raked out by Daly's tackle, so he gives 6 more tackles. That really makes no difference because that, in fact, is the first tackle. And now away from Sears, back for Gavin Jones. Jones to the halfway line, and Canberra's defence starting to lift a little bit more now as they probably sense that we mustn't let them back, even with a smell of getting back into the game. Across from Taylor then for Florimo, the run around, and then the second man play. Wilson's pass a beauty, and Moore is tackled 38 metres out from the Canberra line. Caruana a dummy half, and Taylor it is that goes to the defence line. Fairly hits it hard. Caruana is there in support, comes across. Florimo is strong, tries to unload, but Canberra's got the ball.
Florimo was strong, but Brad Clyde was stronger in that tackle and forced the ball loose. A few holes starting to appear in the Canberra defence now, especially up the middle when the ball is turned back inside. A great tackle there by Clyde.
Mandruku now. 20 points to 6. There's 21 and a half minutes to go.
There's been a little bit of doubt there whether Clyde knocked the ball out deliberately, stripped the ball. Was could have got a penalty there. It didn't happen. Steve Walters going finds 4 or 5 metres up the middle.
Walters put down by Larson and Fairley, and the ball goes away to Stewart, and Stewart keeps it low, punches it into the corner, and David Hall goes back urgently to bring it back. Mal Meninga comes up with Laurie Bailey and Ken Nagus, and he's able to get it 12 metres out from his own line.
Nice settling set of 6 from Canberra. So many experienced players, they don't get phased when North Sydney go through a good period. They got the ball back, worked it up, kicked it down into the corner. Tackle 3 now, and they got North Sydney looking for yards before a kick.
178 tackles required by North Sydney in the match, 164 for Canberra. The back row for North Sydney, though, 24 for Moore, 21 for Fairley, 27 for Larson. And by comparison with Canberra, Clyde 16, Furner, well, he hasn't been there, Croker 21. So you can see that the North Sydney back rowers, they've done so much defending work that maybe the edge is off their attack. As it comes across now for Jason Taylor on the halfway line, he's able to beat Jason Croker. The ball bounces up for Ken Nagus, a man possessed of lightning speed, as we've already seen on several occasions. He's tackled just outside his 20-metre line. Mullins waiting for the ball on one side, Clyde on the other. It is with the latter. And Brad Clyde, a certainty for the Kangaroo Tour, obviously, playing the ball, and now Hetherington works the play out to the 20-metre line. 20 points to 6, just a little elevation in the hopes of the North Sydney fans about 5 minutes ago, but that seems to have subsided again now. Furner plays it. He appears quite okay. Stewart with the long ball back across the ruck, and then Daly and Meninga combine before Mullins looks for a hole up the centre, and it's there. Mullins into space. Croker's with him. Croker now. He puts the ears back, looks for support. Here's Walters. Walters is with him, but Croker, he doesn't need Walters. He's in to score himself. His second try.
Well, again, came from nothing apart from some ordinary North Sydney defence in the middle of the ruck. The reverse pass from Ricky Stewart has proved to be a master stroke again. Back across the ruck. Let's have a look at the North Sydney defence as we freeze play there. You'll see that Gary Larson hasn't come up with his outside men, and that means that there's going to be a hole through there eventually, and the man that's going to find it as we continue on is going to be Brett Mullins. There's the pass. Caruana hadn't trailed across as well. Positioned himself beautifully, Jason Croker, and then was had too much speed for Gary Larson. Steve Walters appeared late on the scene. Just great combination between the 11 and the 1. But ordinary defence up the middle once again.
Yeah, very poor North Sydney defence, and Jason Croker had plenty of work to do here. The North players, someone had to go in and have a shot at him. They hung off him, and in the end, they even let him run around and put it right under the 6 to make it easy for Furner.
Well, what about Steve Walters? There's Mullins again on the end of some treatment. What about Steve Walters, Phil Gould? I mean, nobody's a greater admirer of him than you, but there he was trailing around like an obedient servant.
Yeah, and he's found some good yards around the middle of the ruck when Canberra have been under pressure. He keeps the play going forward. A great player.
26-6 then, Canberra over the Bears with about 17 to go.
If you're looking for a successful Australian company, look for the one that's grown from £600 in 1914 to a national group with assets of over $2 billion. And if you're looking for a company that can ride out the storm, look for the one that also leads the way in pleasurecraft insurance. Look for Australia's MMI, the quality standard in insurance.
(26-6), Canberra, 5 tries to 1. Never mind about the scoreboard. 26-6. There's the real bottom line of it. This hasn't been one that has been inflated by goal kicking. They've done it by putting the leather over the line, and 5 times they've done it. Serving notice to others in the 5 that they are the favourites. It's quite incredible, really, that we are talking like that, and across Australia you're probably saying, well, how come they're the favourites when the minor premiers are at home? I guess it's just the mere respect we have for this green machine. They won the competition in 89 and 90. This is the first time since. Walters, look at him. Walters down to the 20-metre line. This is the first time since then that they've come into a final series injury-free, so it would seem. Stewart delivering for Daly and Meninga, and oh, look at them. Nagus, a great tackle, but the fluency of the passing, it is almost like an orchestra when they click into top gear. The Bears now back outside their 10-metre line. Watch this.
Well, Mel Meninga may have played second fiddle to Laurie Daly and Brad Clyde out there this afternoon, but it's still been one of his best games. Beautiful hands there. The knowledge that Nagus would be arriving. Sometimes it's Mullins. It's always someone with good speed.
And you've got three experienced players like Stewart, Daly and Meninga. I mean, the side has excellent direction. And then you've got some real flyers. You've got Mullins, you've got Wiki, you've got Nagus, and you've got Nadruku. I mean, they just reap the benefits. They're try-scoring phenomenons, but it's the three inside that keep directing them around.
Talking of Mullins, he's now left the park. I'm just wondering if this is the last time. Let's just get an update from Steve down on the sidelines when he gets a chance to check with the bench if they're worried at all about the injury to Mullins. He certainly had plenty of attention out there. But of course, Canberra fans now will be interested to know just how serious it is. There's Brett standing in the mouth of the tunnel. Now he's retiring to the rooms. Steve, can you help me with Brett Mullins?
Yeah, he's all right. It's just precautionary. It's 26 points to 6. Canberra just giving Brett Mullins a rest.
Okay. It's almost like an episode from General Hospital here today. They're in and out like a casualty ward.
As I said before, half-time, Ray, it's an important period for North Sydney now because there's 15 minutes to go to game. It's 26 to 6, and this last 15 minutes is what they'll carry in the next week's sudden death game against the winner of Manly and Brisbane. Now, if the score gets embarrassing for them today, it's going to be very hard to pick their spirits up before next week's game. They've got to keep going to the final siren. If Canberra want to knock off and believe the game is won, they've got to finish strong to give themselves confidence for next week.
Well, Wiki there, he didn't have to chance the pass. It's a pass that you'd expect North Sydney to give, but that's just so typical of the Canberra side. They don't care about the scoreboard. And you just saw Ruben Wiki trying to squeeze a pass that wasn't on, but he thought, well, I'll give it a shot anyway. Here's Caruana. Oh, Caruana's in space. He's into the corner. Gets it down. Norths get their second try.
This is a very strange bit of defence here by Canberra because they both hung off Caruana. Laurie Daly and Fulavai, they just watched him waltz through that gap. So North Sydney, they still live. They're still breathing. And the ball went wide. The Canberra defence a little bit slow to come up. Just have a look at Carolina. Gets on the outside of Daly. Fulavai's talking to Daly, and they didn't read the play at all. Carolina, easy.
With David Hall coming back inside, that put Laurie Daly in two minds. He overread the situation, Daly. Just that fleeting second when he's had a look at the decoy player on the inside, that meant that Caruana had enough speed to get on the outside. Fulavai was always calling to Laurie Daly that man scoring the try was his.
He's a handy player to have around your camp, this fellow, Chris Caruana. He's not a big man, but he's very robust, very strong. And just in case anybody's interested in him down the track, he can wear the number 9 shirt and wear it very well. As Taylor from the sideline, oh, have a look at him. How good a kicker is he? 26 to 6. As Fatty said, they're still breathing. 26 to 12, I beg your pardon.
And just have a look here. Fulavai calls Laurie Daly to take Caruana, but Laurie Daly looks at David Hall coming back inside. And it's all too easy. A little bit too little too late, but as Phil Gill pointed out, very important how North Sydney finished this game.
Of course, that try came from a Canberra mistake, and I'm sure as a coach, Phil, if you're leading by 20, I know it's all right to throw the ball around, but that pass by Wiki was never on, was it? And he's got more experience than to try and throw a ball like that.
No, it wasn't, and that would concern Tim Sheens. I mean, it got their defence out of position. Meninga, that was the gap Meninga would normally defend in, and Taylor read that very quickly out wide. He doesn't want this game to see North Sydney have a comeback like Manly did last week.
That's Matt Toshak being tackled in 42. Ivan Cleary has left the field. I thought he was pretty strong in defence, Ivan Cleary. Toshak, who played very, very well in first grade for the first half of the season before being suspended, is now out there for the last 11 minutes.
Let me just check that scoreboard for you. 26 to 12, Norths with their second try, and only twice he's had an opportunity with the boot, and Jason Taylor has provided the extras, both from a very acute angle. Wilson unloads and Sears puts it on the boot, keeps it low. It'll find the line, will it? Yes, just inside the 20-metre line.
Took your time with that one. It'll find the line when it goes over that white thing.
Well, after the bagging I got on the Mullins try that wasn't a try, I've just got to hesitate a bit, particularly with you sitting in the box beside me. I'd hate to be in a trench with you, but I still like you. As the scrum prepares to back them. Canberra coming away from their own 20-metre zone. Albert Fullervine made way after doing a fine job for his club for the return of Ken Nagus, the Origin debutant in this year. Toshak is on for Cleary, as Peter Sterling told you. A face ball cuts out Hetherington, finds Furner. 32 metres out, and North Sydney holding him down in the tackle, trying to slow down any impetus that the Canberra attack might have. And that's an excellent pass by Wesley into the waiting clutches of Nagus. Nagus tries to play the ball. Harrigan lets the ball go by. Walters with another incisive run. His value to Canberra probably goes more unnoticed than it should. Maminga's kick, a grubbing kick, looking for Fullervine. And diving on the ball out there is Jason Taylor on the 20-metre line. Jason Deeth has gone on now. He's in 44, and Walters, I think, has come from the field. He just got an injury when he took that last ball ahead. So Jason Deeth is out there now. Kim Sheens not wasting any time in getting his key personnel off if they throw up a signal of distress. It's away now for Gavin Jones to cross the halfway, and now Wilson taken by Hetherington. The ball snatched out by Canberra, forcing the knock on and the scrum to go down. And that will give North Sydney another 6 shots from 35 metres out. This is what happened.
It's been no surprise to see Craig Wilson out there just about the whole time after coming on. As an interchange player, he sometimes leaves the field, but they've had to score points ever since he's been out there. He's a key player in that time. Ricky Stewart just got the timely hand to knock the ball down. Another set of 6 for North now, trying to get their 3rd on board.
8 3/4 minutes of the match remaining as the Bears throw it about just outside the Canberra 20-metre line. Desperately need a converted try, and then of course they'd need it again, so it's a forlorn hope as Fairley works on the blind side. He puts in a kick, and Nagus comes across to make a diving catch and a save. Stewart sending Mandruku back towards the 10-metre line. MMI Insurance, they've been great supporters of ours right through the year with the $1,000 Man of the Match award. On one of the 2 nights we've presented Rugby League, and tonight MMI Insurance will deliver the $1,000 cash to the man of the match. Nandruku in space. He's looked the wrong way. Now he's looked the right way. He's got more support than he knows what to do with. And now he throws a shocker. Oh, Noah. No, Noah. No, Noah.
Oh, that was incredible. A fantastic break made by Nandruku in his own 20-metre zone. And the way he went, he's into space, he's beaten Sears. There's green, it's like a vegetable patch out there. There's green things everywhere. And he's just thrown a Barry Crocker.
Oh, Noah. God bless you, my friend, but you made a complete mess of that. Even Mr. Vorton agreed. Flurry breaks over the 20-metre line, and the Bears trying to perform the impossible. Craig Wilson is held and forced to play the ball 10 metres short of his halfway line. 26-12 then in favour of the Raiders.
Bad pass aside, Ray. Just shows you how many talented players there are in this Canberra side that can make a break out of seemingly nothing. I know he's come up with the poor pass at the end, but it's still nice to have people with that ability to break the line and sprint away like these fellas do.
Great to have Phil Gould in our commentary box today as Taylor's kick is taken on the legs by Hetherington, so that's play on. So, of course, filling in for Fatty many times through the year, and of course it's great to have the State of Origin coach with us in our commentary team for the semi-finals. As the ball is played by Canberra just off into North Sydney's area, and Jason Deeth came into a match in Canberra this year. I think he scored 3 tries in the absence of Steve Walters. He's a very handy player himself as Furner makes a meal of it, and Deeth it is that makes the tackle on North Sydney. Taylor pushes along, and this is Matt Toshak away from Ruben Wickie, but forced down by Bradley Clyde. And now from Hoppy, it's back and across from Wilson to Fennick. Fennick, who hasn't seen a lot of the match. And Harrigan rules a knock-on against him now. It won't make him any the happier. Not a happy man, Mario.
He's only just come back onto the football field, Mario, and there he is. Interfered there with Ricky Stewart. Ball hit Stewart's leg. He's not happy about the decision. The Liberators are having a ball.
Is he on the footy show tomorrow, Paul?
What if he talks like that? He won't go on for long.
Scrum won by Canberra. We're in the dying minutes of the game. 5 minutes, in fact, to go. I don't know that it's over yet, though, as far as the score counting is concerned. Nagus, he'll play the ball back to Meninga. Play close to the halfway line. Hetherington, who was a permanent member of the side. He made way indirectly for the return of Daly. Now Stewart. This is Wesley. Wesley stands in Florimo's tackle. Furner is monstered by Fairley. And he'll be made to play the ball back to Jason Deeth, who goes from dummy half, appearing very much like he's learned that art from his master, Steve Walters, who's out of the game at the moment. So is Mullins, and now Clyde. He's done a tremendous amount of work out there today, Bradley Clyde. He's hit the ball up 19 times. You might not have realised that, and 24 tackles in the game.
Race semi-finals are an education process. North Sydney haven't been here for a couple of seasons. Canberra, with so many representative class players, just fitted straight into their stride. But they'll be playing a different team next week in Canterbury, who of course have those class players and were here at semi-final time last year. So I'm expecting a boomer of a game next week between Canberra and Canterbury.
And Fatty, another one of those kicks that Ricky Stewart didn't mean to put over that way. Great chase again. Great ability, Ricky Stewart, to kick the ball to the side of the ball so that it's actually directed back to where he's facing.
Are you saying that ball wasn't talking?
Well, I'm saying that he knew exactly where he was putting it and so did the chasers.
We talk about Canterbury next week for the Raiders, Phil. They come back from what was an embarrassing defeat for them, 36-6. So they've got plenty of work to do in preparation for that. The Bears come down the sideline. Matt Toshak inside, away from Hearn, then for Hoppy. Hoppy trying to get the pass away for Caruana. And Canberra almost bullying on top of him to take the ball, but they're going to put a scrum down 15 out from the Canberra line.
Yeah, it's been one of those days. Stewart's limping.
Here's trouble. Stewart, look at that lump. Now watch this. You can see the lump. It comes straight up on the leg of Ricky Stewart.
It's called a knee.
No. Turner. He's got a huge lump on his thigh that came up immediately after the injury. There it is there. It's not his knees. If it's his knees come round to the side of his leg.
But once again, last week when Manly threw the ball wide in the dying stages, they found Canberra in trouble with their defence out wide. North Sydney have done the same again today.
26-12 in favour of the Raiders over the Bears, with 2 1/4 minutes of the match remaining now. Furner's out to the 30-metre line and struck for in the play. The ball won by North, and then Canberra come back with it. He's restarted the tackle count as Meninga stands like a mountain, and Croker has scored 2 tries and has done a marvellous job. 27 tackles for him.
Just getting back to the game next week, Canterbury and Canberra. I don't think that second round clash at Bruce Stadium will have any bearing on the Canterbury thinking leading into that semi-final this week. Too important a game to be thinking about what's happened earlier in the season. And really, psychologically, it's a barrier for Canberra because they handled them so well on that night. They've got to remember it was at Bruce Stadium and Canterbury did have some excuses with injured players.
Bailey's kick just inside the touchline. Sears had to take it, and Fullerby had him covered immediately. David Hall then, as Fullerby does the cleaning up again. Can he make it three? He doesn't have to, as the others arrive now, and Wesley and Hetherington make the tackle. The MMI Insurance Man of the Match, $1,000. We'll have that for you, together with the wrap of the game in the not-too-distant future, because the clock reminds me there's only 60 seconds to go. Short passing, Florimo and Hearn. And 5 tackles indicated by referee Bill Harrigan. The fact that he had this match today would indicate that he's got his nose in front of Greg McCallum and Graham Annesley as the preferred choice for the big one in 4 weekends from now. This scrum will barely have time to pack. 30 seconds thereabouts on the clock.
Been a good performance by Canberra. I felt their last 20 minutes they dropped a bit of intensity, dropped a lot of intensity as a matter of fact. But some of the players, the replacement players like David Wesley and Hetherington, have done magnificent jobs for the Raiders. And it all goes well for them for the next couple of weeks as the big matches keep rolling on.
Scrum decided, and Wiki takes the tackle. There'll be time probably for one more. As Daly moves into dummy half, it's with Clyde. He puts the kick in, it'll find touch, and that will find the full-time siren, and the first preliminary semi-final is over. North Sydney will go back to the drawing board and prepare to meet the winner of Manly and Brisbane tomorrow, as Canberra prepare to play Canterbury Bankstown for the right to go to the grand final next weekend. 26-12. The Raiders over the Bears, and a further emphasis, I think, of the class of this, the team they refer to as the Green Machine. So throughout the ACT and the Riverina, I'm sure you'll be happy. Canberra winning for you, and we hope you've enjoyed the coverage. There's more to come in just a moment.
A show like ours wouldn't be a show without some experts on the panel, so will you welcome along also Raiders coach Tim Sheen, Sean McRae and Ricky Stewart. Rick, I've got to start by asking first, Steve Renoff, I spoke to you on Wednesday night. You were pretty confident he was going to get time. He didn't.
Well, I thought he would, but you've got to question the ability of the judiciary. They've got a very difficult job. Ron Coote and his members there. I thought he would get at least 4 to 6 weeks. There was a player in the same boat last season that got suspended from a second-grade Newcastle player, actually. And I thought, as I said Wednesday night, I really did think he'd get some time. But as I said, they've got a very difficult job, and no one would like to be in their boots. But as I said, I was very surprised.
Okay, joining us down on the sidelines, Paul Osborne. Aussie, welcome along.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
I've got to start asking you, there's been a lot of press about it. What is your future?
A lot of press, is it? I've actually signed a short-term agreement with Featherstone. Stop laughing. I've signed a short-term agreement with Featherstone, and I'm off there when my commitments are over with the Raiders. So.
I'm a bit surprised the coach was laughing, just drawing our attention to the green guy this morning in the Canberra Times, and Tim Aussie was the 5th best-rated player in the Rothmans out of the Canberra players the other night. What do you think of that?
Oh, haven't you ever heard the expression, you're blind, referee, you know?
Yeah. Okay, turning our attention to the, of course, the Raiders win over North Sydney. Sean, just as we look through the highlights, a big one for the boys.
Yeah, it sure was. We started off very well, and unfortunately it's another costly game against North Sydney. We always seem to get plenty of injuries, but we're trying to overcome those during the week, and we do in fact have another 24 hours recovery from perhaps a normal week. But
this was where it all happened, basically.
Yeah, this was probably a turning point. You know, Ricky took an option here, threw a long pass. Jason Croker scored. Mal kicked a very, very good conversion. Then we rattled up a few points afterwards. And I disagree with a lot of people saying that the reason for that was because North's had 12 men. I think, you know, how do you stop this? I don't think it mattered if you had 15 men on the field. This sort of thing was just ineffective tackling, and Noah scoring in the corner. So we got away to a very good lead, and of course the important thing after half-time was not to allow North Sydney back into the game, and we went to 20-0, and the game was pretty well over then, and I think
I've just got to ask, just quickly, just butting in there, I've got to ask Rick, did you feel that you were on top? I mean, before that play was sent off?
Well, I thought with us holding them off for the first 20 minutes, we've had a great lead up to the couple of the semi-final. Won the game against Manly. It was 25 minutes before there was a real scoreline in the match, and it happened again. It's going to happen again this week, Phil. I think we've got to really hold out for 20 to 30 minutes. If we can hold Canterbury out, we've got to come home strong. We've done that in the last few weeks. We've scored over a period of 15 minutes, and we're not expecting to score 3 or 4 tries as we have over the last 2 games. But both in these high-intensity games, the first 20 to 25 minutes are going to be very, very tough, and you don't expect to see a lot of points scored.
Tim, they blew them away for that 15-minute period?
Yeah, well, we came back and scored on the next set of 6 after that try, and I think that was the thing that really got them. I agree with Sean. I don't think there was any overlap situation that caused the problem. I mean, Noah's try was scored down the side. They ran through young Cleary, which was their right side centre. But I think it was just, we took the opportunity, particularly Kenny Nagas picked up a great opportunity and went on with it, and, it was all over at half-time in some respects, but still we've got to watch that second half slump.
Sean, fitness-wise, the guys have been doing a bit of training in extra clothing, etc. Of course, the heat. Was the heat a problem on this day?
Oh, definitely, yes. And we've, when we talk about acclimatisation and adaptation to heat, we've certainly had a good preparation for that. The Manly game was, I would consider, oppressive. The football stadium wasn't quite as humid and quite as hot, but we've been doing a lot of work during the week. We've been in the heat tank. We've had our players with extra clothing on. I think our acclimatisation is just about at peak level now.
We'll actually have a look at that acclimatisation chamber shortly. Getting back to Steve Renouf, how did you see that, Bomber?
I actually disagree with Ricky. I thought that the decision was quite right. You see it here. Steve was moving at a lot of speed. The other guy fell on the football. He had to try to effect a tackle. I'm not suggesting that's the way you do effect a tackle, but I don't think he really could have avoided that.
What happens if Ellsgood does it to Renouf? I mean, if it's reversed the other way now, and
he might have got ice. Well, I don't know. I just think it's one of those accidents that happen. You know Steve as well as I do, Ricky. There's certainly no malice in him as a person, as a player.
The judiciary before this season with a spear tackle.
Well, that's a fair call as well. I don't disagree with that, but I just think in that particular instance he was moving at a terrific speed. It's very hard to decelerate, and a lot of what Kelvin Giles said as part of the case was, I think, was quite true.
Okay, just before you two get the fisticuffs, we'll take a short break and be right back with more League Roundup.
Here's a call from Daly. Daly goes down the blind side. Daly looks for his winger. He finds the blind feet. Neutral goal. He's in for the Canberra try.
Go there, come on. We just want to ask you a question.
Okay, boys, who's going to win on the weekend? Canberra. Canberra, all Canberra. Mal, Ricky and Laurie all too strong. And the Raiders sport pack's just too strong.
Hey, mate, how do you reckon the Raiders are going to go this weekend?
Oh, yeah, probably win, mate.
Probably?
Yeah.
You would better than that. They're in for sure, don't you reckon?
Oh, yeah, well, all right, yeah, mate.
Watching League Roundup. Welcome back once again. Of course, we mentioned a little bit earlier, of course, the Raiders have been training in that heat chamber over at the AIS. Tim, and a bit of an innovation there as far as the club's concerned.
Well, we've used it for a couple of years, as early as '89, I think, Sean, didn't we? When in '87, it goes back as far as '87 when the side was affected badly in the grand final against Manly, and we started taking precautions and working with Dick Telford and the AIS as far back as then.
Sean, just explain through it as we look through some of the highlights from during the week of its use. What's the idea there?
Well, the whole idea, Phil, is to have our players train at a reasonable level, in other words, sub-maximally, but we can control the heat and the humidity. So these guys at the moment are working at about 30 degrees, and the humidity was about 70%. Now the difficulty is that you can't go outside and do that even with extra clothing on. It's really not as effective as training in the heat tank. The problems with this is we've got to be very careful about dehydration and also early fatigue, and we have experienced some colds and flus because the players have come out and gone into a colder climate. So it's a very good effect. Essentially, we're really just topping the levels up, if you like.
Geez, you're going hard there, Ozzy.
He's getting ready for England.
As far as the heat tank use is concerned, some of the other clubs have been a little bit upset about our use of the AIS. I've here during the winter?
We're paying for it.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfair. We pay to use the facility. There are facilities all over Australia. I mean, it just happens that we're located where this is located. You know, teams like Manly and North Sydney are very close to Narrabeen Fitness Centre, which is now the New South Wales Academy of Sport. They have similar facilities. I mean, I'm sure they're quite entitled to do what they like as well.
Down by the sea too. Tim, you touched on an interesting aspect of the match last week during the break with Wiki and Meninga.
Yeah, further to the heat treatment that we've been giving the guys. Mal was saying that we ran left to right, and he was in the shade for the first 40 minutes, and Ruben was out in the sun. And at half-time, Mal was saying how well he felt, and Ruben was absolutely exhausted. So no doubt if we win the toss this week, you'll see us running left to right in the shade.
Be the first time all year, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently Noah handled the sun very well, though.
He always does, doesn't he?
Got a great tan out of it.
Okay, turning our attention to the player of the week, and it was a beauty too, a try-stopper.
Well, there was a chance there for North Sydney through the mess-up. Ricky Stewart couldn't get to the ball as Mullins makes a break. He's away.
Mullins is outside the 40-metre line. That's it. That is it. They couldn't possibly catch him. Mullins. Well, what about young Sears?
What about young Sears? What about Rugby?
Fair dinkum, you'd take 10s on, wouldn't you? Well, if I told you that Brett Mullins had 5 metres start in a rugby league sprint with 50 to go, what would you do? Only a couple of metres out from the line. Canberra looking for another try before half-time. The big pass away. Lomax shovels it on. It's gone out for Ruben Wiki, and Wiki goes in to score. Another try for Canberra. Right on half-time.
Favorite player?
Who do you reckon?
Ricky Stewart.
Ricky Stewart?
Do you really know him?
I know him, known him since he was 7.
Who's your favourite player, Jack?
Well, I'd have to say Big Mel.
Brett Mullins. Brett Mullins. Steve Renoff. Oh, you're hoping he doesn't get suspended. What about you?
I'm a big fan of Mal.
Mal? Mal who? Never heard of him, mate.
Boys in blue, Queen United getting home in the Molonglo Shield Grand Final 1994. The scoreline there 17-16 in favour of United. The field goal on the bell. Joining us down on the sidelines with Paul Osborne, their coach Ronnie Giddo.
Great result for the boys, Ronnie. Five or six sudden death games in a row.
Yeah, we just took it as a game at a time, but the end result was what we were always after. Having that opportunity to be there, yeah, it was a great result.
It wasn't the result I was after. I was a Westfield Connor fan, but Paul Beath, a 40-metre field goal.
Yeah, the old mock. Everyone was reminding him throughout the week that he hadn't won a grand final. That what a great way to win one.
Listen, mate, you're not looking for any front rows down there next year, are you?
Well, mate, we're all...
I can play 5'8" as well.
We're always looking for good football.
Or half-back or centre.
Do you know where we can find them?
Thanks, mate.
Ronnie, how hard was it to keep the boys on a high once you did make the grand final?
Oh, I think it was pretty simple, actually. I think once the guys had that sniff of being there, they've beaten Westies. I think if anyone's got a bogey side, I think Westies believe the Blues are their bogey side.
And I do believe the last 3 or 4 days would have been very enjoyable.
Yes,
you haven't got any secrets?
We're a bit surprised you're in here, actually, Ronnie.
Well, it's been a bit hectic. We had a day off there yesterday. Well, we had a couple, and we've got to back up again tonight, and then hopefully that'll be our celebrations over for a couple of weeks.
Mate, a well-deserved win. What's the plans for next year, Ron? Are you on contract again for another season with the Blues, or what have you got plans for?
Well, we've never had contracts. It's only just a verbal thing where we just go out there and they say, oh, we're sitting back like everyone else is to see what Mel's doing, I suppose. There's a few options and also a few players floating around to see what's happening.
Are you thinking about signing Mel next year, are you?
Well,
See what happens, I suppose.
I think a few of our centres would be a bit dark if we brought Mel into the club, but if he's not doing it, we'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to him.
Ronnie, thanks very much for coming in. It's nice to have you along, and all the best for the boys as far as next season's concerned. Ozzy, if you turn your attention to your left side there, and you've got a special guest with us.
Actually, it looks like you related to Carol Lee.
It looks like you.
Looks like your daughter. Oh, no, that's your daughter.
Actually, it's Victor the Viking. Victor, I'll take that mask off.
Take that hat off.
Oh,
hey!
Put it back on. Put it back on. And what's your real name, Victor?
Tony.
Tony, and how long you been running around making a fool of yourself like this?
I'm talking to you for 5 minutes.
And,
I've been doing it for 11 years now.
And what's your tip for the big game on Sunday? Silly question.
Canberra by 14.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Thanks very much for coming in too, Victor. You're watching League Roundup. We'll take another short break there and regroup. We'll be right back after this.
Kick across the Belcher, up he goes, it's loose, it's anybody's football, that's a try! That is a try in the corner!
Nelson, Lamb, shaped the kick, they left it open for Lamb, and Langback will score next to the post!
What do you reckon about this Terry Lamb bloke?
Yeah, he's a goer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good on your backs, fellas?
No, and are they going to win? Are they going to beat Canberra on the weekend? Hey?
Get away.
Do you follow the Canberra Raiders?
No.
You don't? Who do you follow?
Broncos.
Oh, well, come, we've had an absolute shocker.
Canberra Raiders should be win. The best in the world, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thanks.
And welcome back to League Roundup. I've got to thank a couple of eating houses around town for making the show possible. The Parmigiana over in Mawson, also the Hyde Hotel, who did a great job today.
Samir Hamouche.
Yeah, feeding the millions that have come in to watch the show. Looking at this weekend's round, but before we do, I've got to ask a question very quickly. Sean McRae, we spoke about Paul Osborne's future. What's yours?
Decided probably next Wednesday, Phil. I've got a very good offer to go to a club in Sydney, and I spoke to...
What club is it, Sean?
St George, and I spoke to Kevin Earl yesterday. He
How much are they offering you?
No, about 10% of what you get, I think.
And the man sitting next to you, your future, Tim Sheen. So there's word around that you've been negotiating with Canberra again.
I've got 2 years left on a contract, Phil.
But negotiations are being held?
I've got 2 years left on a contract, Phil.
Okay. We won't pay you to come in next time. This weekend's matches, of course, the Canberra Raiders taking on Canterbury. Just taking a run through the lineups there. The Canberra side, firstly, as it was named on Tuesday night by Tim Sheens. Mullins, Nagus, Meninga, Wiki, Nadruku, Daly, Stewart, Pongia, Walters, Lomax, Croker, Furner, Clyde, and plenty of players on the bench there as well. A lot of depth on that bench, Tim.
Yeah, well, the bench with 4 fresh replacements, there's no doubt, is the secret to it, and I think you saw it in last week's semi-finals. They have a big impact, I think, in coming on fresh.
Sean, that's going to make a big difference in the match. I think the turning point, really.
Well, it's no secret that we're taking some players into the game, very likely to be less than 100% fit. So certainly the impact players we have will provide a big impetus for the game.
Rick, do you see a lot of pressure as far as those injured players are concerned over the next couple of days?
Not so much pressure, Phil, but you just got to get it out of your mind that there are niggling injuries and concentrate on the game. Just on the 4 players that are on the bench, I think that the most important part to our makeup of the side now is that the 4 players that are there are all first graders. I mean, you haven't got a couple of second graders who are on their way to make first grade. You've got 4 very experienced first graders.
OK, the Canterbury lineup as it was named on Tuesday night, and it reads this way: Wilson, Halligan, McCracken, Hughes, Williams, Lamb, Pullamouta, Bella, Hetherington, Britt, Smith, Pay, and they've named a few on the bench as well. The Bulldogs, Tim, we rolled them here at Bruce, but it was at Bruce.
Yeah, and they got us at Belmore, so it's one apiece. And the strength, of course, is Lamb and the back 3 forwards. They're very, very strong with the ball in their hands. And, you know, we've talked about it. We're well prepared, we think, so should be a good game.
Rick, it's going to be interesting around the halves area with Pullamouta and Lamb.
Yeah, both very good players. I only just saying to Tim in the break, they've really got a 7-man forward pack with Pullamouta, the way he plays his football. Terry Lamb is very much their leader. He's a very dominant player verbally and physically on the field.
Of course, this was the match at Bruce. A couple of great tries, that Mullins try in particular. But, yeah, Canterbury are going to be tough.
Very tough, and as I was saying about Lamb, a great leader for them. So, you know, looking at it back at our scale, Laurie and I, we're going to try and take control and dominate proceedings of the day, and I'm very confident that after our session yesterday, Phil, we had a great session yesterday. I was really impressed with our enthusiasm and our attitude at training. And I think we're on the way to you know, a very successful game.
Sean, John Lomax, what's the chance?
Fairly remote at this stage, but I'm sure Coach Shoons will give him up until Saturday, you know, until tomorrow to at the last session to prove his fitness, but hasn't been able to tackle all week, hasn't been able to cop a hit at all. He's been able to run around and throw passes, but he needs to do a little bit more than that in the game, of course.
And Tim, the scenario there, if John isn't available?
Well, there's Aussie. And then there's Victor.
And Mr. Sporty. Well, they're all down there. We'll actually switch down to.
What's Ronnie doing? Is Ronnie get over there?
We'll switch down to Paul Osborne. Aussie, you've got our lucky door prize winner. You're down there with
I'm
Mr.
the one with I'm the one without the head. If anyone's confused.
Yeah, the three biggest. I was about to say the three biggest heads in rugby league: Mr. Sporty, Paul Osborne, and Victor the Viking.
The winner of the lucky door prize is Cynthia Hammond. She's off to see the semi-finals on Sunday.
And of course, that was supplied by Canberra Toyota. Mr. Sporty's here for the Sportsman's Warehouse. He's got some bits and pieces to hand out, some drink bottles and footballs, which he's now throwing to the crowd. Well done, Mr. Sporty.
Ozzy's he got your cap on?
I think you better take his head over. You can warm you up when you're over in Great Britain. Tim, thanks very much for coming along. We might try and catch up in the next couple of weeks anyway.
Thanks, Phil.
Good luck on Sunday. Sean, we'll see you. You're not going to take off too quickly.
No, I'll be
make
around
that decision.
For a while. Yes, thanks.
Okay. And Rick, all the best to the boys. Nervous times, I suppose, a little bit of nerves in the camp.
Yeah, there are some nerves, Phil, but I think that it's, as I said, I've said it all along, it's the most enjoyable part of the season, and I think nerves are a very good sign.
Mr. Sporty, can you behave yourself down there? Or was he grab hold of him? Okay, you've been watching League Roundup. We trust that you enjoyed the show and hope that you'll join us again next week. If you'd like to come in and sit on our studio audience, all you've got to do is contact us here at Win TV. And
who's the guest next week, Phil? Who's the guest on the show?
Guest next week, Bradley Clyde.
Oh, we'll look forward to that.
Bradley Clyde. He's going to come in and join us. So, Brad, we've put you on the spot. Just make sure you turn up. You've been watching League Roundup, as I said. We trust that you enjoyed the show. You're going to say
100 to 1.
I'll get this out yet. And that you'll join us again next week. But for now, from the League Roundup team, it's a very, very good night.
Didn't do that last week. Given by Walter. Stewart looks inside, goes out below, that's looks for a runner. There's David Burner, gets it back. Why Canberra? Why the Raiders? Who's going to win the grand final?
I think best left to the professionals.
To the professionals?
Yeah.
Great budgie, Avery. What is it meant to be, like a tram car or something?
I drew it one night and I thought, yeah, that's what I'll do. There it is.
And all these old